Wasn't Barbara coming back?
She is. She went up to get her photograph taken.
Oh, we probably wait till after.
There might be some up there doing that.
I think so too.
Which is good. I'm not going to discourage that by any means. That's all good. So let's just kind of do a little bit. So the one thing that on this screen here that I want to make sure everybody knows is called the Bible app here. This is a U version of the Bible, and you can put this on your tablet or your phone. And what happened to it here? Oh boy.
Hey, mine didn't go on either. Oh, it's down here.
Like to happen at church.
Is it down because we're down here?
I don't know. It
Yeah.
should be working. It was
Oh wait,
working.
it just came on. It just took a while.
Okay.
It came.
Alright, I'm hoping. There we go.
Yeah.
So this is called the U version of the Bible app, and what I like about this is that you can certainly use it as a Bible, where you can just read the Bible and you can pick certainly any kind of translation you like, and it'll actually read to you. So I can put this on in my car and it'll read the Bible to me. And so I like that. I often like a different version, so I often have the New Living, just because it's little different, and I like how it catches my ear. The other thing that this one has is different reading or Bible plans, and you can actually here find a plan, and I'm going to turn it sideways here and see if it'll go a little bit bigger for me maybe. There we go. And you can actually find all kinds of different things. You can go by popular topics, sharing your faith, relationship, feelings through the Bible, and these are all different. Here, oopsie. These are all different ones that you can look at for Lent and Easter, and new to the faith. So if you want to do marriage, you want to walk through the Bible, there's all these different ones. This is a very touchy.
This is all just in the Play Store?
This is all in this Bible app.
On
Yes.
that Bible app, but that Bible app is in the Play Store.
That Bible app is in the Play Store.
Actually, if it's on yours. It's an Android. So it's there.
Yeah.
Just go to,
Yeah, I just want to see it
Yep.
on the internet. Yeah.
It'll also give you, you can sign up for a verse of the day, and it will give you a Bible verse every day. It will also, you can get a verse of the day image, it'll send you that as well. I just find that this is it's free. Another church put this together and made this happen. And I just did a reading plan that we did the 100 days through the Bible, and we just completed that. And you can actually, I invited people to do it, and so we could comment on it together, and we were reading it together. You could see who was reading when, and it was a lot of fun. So,
and look at my suggested friend.
oh, look at that! See,
There you go.
there you are. And so I find this to be a very good Bible app. There's actually videos on here as well, where you can watch different videos
Huh.
that are all free. You can see them.
It's only twice.
What?
U version, Bible app, plus audio.
Yeah, that's where,
That's there too. Exact same thing.
oh well, just use one.
Yeah, so I wanted to show you that because I find that to be very helpful as far as technology and using it to our advantage as such.
I
Yeah.
like the plan.
The reading plans?
Yeah,
I
when it
do
says
too.
you can set your plan.
Yeah.
Plans help you explore biblical truth.
Yep. And so, there's so many different reading plans, and I find that to be just really good.
Because when it comes up like this and you're feeling depression that day.
Yeah, you pick that. And
Yeah.
absolutely.
See?
You pick anti-depressant.
Anti-depression,
You know, here's the Holy Week lessons. These are all just Holy Week, and so there's lots of different things that it can help you do. Indeed. Yeah. Bob, do you use that? Do you use the YouVersion? Okay.
The red letter day, what is that?
Yeah, I like to start my day because it gives me, I don't have to think about it. I just automatically get the verse of the day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then, it's amazing how many times it's the first thing I do in the morning is
Right.
pick up my phone.
Yes, of course.
And
It's
as
right there.
soon as I refresh the screen, it's the first thing that pops up.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I like it because it's that automatic reminder about how I should start my day.
Sure.
Yeah. So I find it very grounding. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like that it will read the devotion to me.
That, I didn't even think about that.
And so
That's
you
good.
find one that has the words, and so when I plug it into my car, I can just hit it instead of music or whatever, or an audio book, and I can do that, and I can listen to the scripture.
Yeah, that's cool.
What do you do to make it read?
The audio.
Yeah, you find
If you go to read,
so if you
Let me start out here.
yeah. Yeah.
you want to download the Bible though.
Okay, so here is, so you have it. So what you want to do is, somehow you're going to want to sign in. So you could just continue with Google, since you're already signed into Google, so hopefully that'll help you to do that. There we are.
Chapter 29.
So you're plugged in,
Words of the letter.
and so you see where it says read down
I
here?
got it.
And so we can read, and here it says, oh, what kind of version do you want? And so when we go there, we can go look at King James, and you look for the little audio with the little symbols around it. All these different versions that have that are able to read to you. So, yeah, so if there's all these are there, and it will read any of these versions that actually have this little speaker symbol. And you can just pick one of those that has that little speaker symbol.
It appears you need to download it.
Well, once you click on it, yeah, you'll download it.
Download.
Absolutely. So if you like King James, is that the version you like, or do you
I
like
would
it?
assume.
All right.
You don't like King James, Gary.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell him he
You tell him,
doesn't.
okay.
Right.
If you have any other questions.
Yeah, let's ask her.
Immediate right.
Well, it's not very Lutheran.
Oh, it's just whatever.
And he doesn't, he
Shut up, man. Shut
Yeah,
up.
but you just find one of those that has that speaker symbol, and then it'll actually read to you.
Oh,
which one do you like, Jim?
I like the New Living because it's just
Yeah, because it's more,
it's just like it's
Different words.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about memorizing it. I just listen to the story as something. So I do this one NLT. Yep, I do that one,
well,
and there it
it's
is.
in there.
And then what it'll do is, you see where it has the speaker. I think there you
I
go.
always think of Baptist when I think of the King James
Will it
version.
read? Yeah.
That's what I grew up on
We did too,
though.
The book of John.
but they didn't have anything different for, much for us, you know.
Yeah.
And you can choose, obviously.
Whatever you want, wherever you want. So what this does is, like I was saying, so when you go to and you want to find a plan, a devotion plan, it'll do a devotion plan for you, and you want to find a plan, and these are all the ones that are available. There's just thousands of them.
Yeah.
And what you can do is, you don't even have to read it. Then you find that, and it'll actually play it for you. And so that's what I do on my commute time, whether coming or going, depending on what's going
So
on.
this is the same one you
I'll
got?
listen.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we're synced then.
Okay.
All right. So that's one that I like on my phone. Let me see if I can go back here.
See, I have it right here.
Yeah, I've seen it on your phone.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. And so, when we go to the internet now, there are a few
That's a cool picture.
that are a lot of fun. And there's one that Pastor Vicki talked about, the Bible Project.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Or was that, Emmeline was talking about that too, right? Or not?
I don't know. I know Pastor Vicki was most recently.
Okay, then that must be.
And she's the one who talked about the Bible Project, visual storytelling meets the Bible.
Right.
And she's been talking about what this is, how to explore the Bible, and this has almost like a little bit like the U version, and then there are different series that you can dive into as you study. These are all videos that are available.
But you have to go to the internet for this.
Yes. So this is then going to your browser
Right.
and then going through and seeing. You can find all these different themes that are on here, as well as there's Old Testament, New Testament, and these then are videos that help understand that Bible book. Okay. So the Bible
Those that she showed were fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, so they would work with a simple mind.
Absolutely. They're not meant to be complex.
You don't need to really strain to understand it.
Right.
It was neat.
Right.
And podcast?
Podcast?
Yeah, it's got a podcast on here too.
Yes. On which one now?
On the
New version?
Bible Project.
Oh, Bible Project. They're podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. And I can't show you on my phone. But on my phone I have certain podcasts that I listen to as well. There's so many that are really good out there.
Do you download those first?
A podcast?
Yeah.
You can.
Yes.
but-
I usually do.
I
Download them. So
Somewhat dependent upon your internet connection, you wouldn't necessarily have to.
you're right, you could download it ahead of time.
Yeah,
Like a little
Yeah.
like the audiobooks that are downloaded that just play then on your
Okay, so
on
you
your
can just
device.
download them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay?
that's cool.
So another one that is amazing is called Text Week. I don't know if you're familiar with Text Week. This is called, and this is again free. And as you can see, it's really interesting in that this actually gives you all the resources for the Sunday, any of these. Okay, so pastors and other church workers use this all the time and allows you to see that. So here we are on, so it says Poem or Passion Sunday. And so let's look at that and see what's available. So if I go to Passion Sunday today, and what it does is down here, it divides it into how you want to look at it. So these are the texts. Maybe you want to watch a movie. There's movies available. These are commentaries or exegesis or sermon preparation stuff. There's articles. There's reflection and devotion. There's all kinds of blogs, web blogs, that are available to look at on this. Now there's a few that I must always look at because I think they're really good. And let's see if I can find the one. I always like this one called One Little Word. And
That's, now how did you get there? You went to
One
Passion.
Little Word. And what this one does is, here's a devotion that this guy does. Usually it's posted by Wednesday morning of the week, of each week. And he usually has the lessons, the prayer of the day, and then he writes a little devotion. And I am fed by it to get me ready, kind of thinking about Sunday and how this particular pastor was looking at it. And so this is available. It's always free. And there's insights called One Little Word.
I don't understand how you got
.org. So let's go back. How did I get there? Let's go back and I'll show you. Because we have lots of time to do this. So let's go back. And so remember I said text week. And let's go back to the front page. So this is the front page of text week when you just put it in your browser.
Where's
Right.
text?
Text this week.
I got text week.
Text
Okay,
week.com.
I got this. All right,
Okay.
all right.
And then on the right in this purple
Yes.
are all the different dates.
Ah,
You see where it says April 14th
yeah, got
over
it.
here? And so I just clicked on the Passion one. It could be the Palm one, so we want to look at the Palm Sunday and focus
Got
on the
it,
Palm
got it.
Sunday.
All right.
And then it takes you right there, and you go up a little bit, and then these are all the different texts that are available. There's a couple movies that you could look at. They're all so this is called a big resource. So this is just somehow where it puts together all the resources for each Sunday, and you can take a look at it.
Does it have Sundays and seasons on it?
This does not have Sundays and seasons. We have that in the office from Augsburg. It's a subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Augsburg puts that out. But we actually have access to that. So if you need access, we can get that for you. But there's sermons, group studies. There's online worship and liturgy, and so there's different prayers and litanies. There's graphics and there's hymns. And
Wow,
so
there's a bunch of stuff.
children's sermons, drama, it's all put together under this one thing. And they do this for every Sunday. So we want, or every holy day. So maybe we want to say, oh, what's a possibility for Good Friday? You can click on Good Friday, and the same thing happens. Where here are the texts. Here are some images and some movies that we could look at. And so we could look at this, the burial of Jesus. Let's see what it looks like. Alright, and so links to images of the burial of Jesus. So here is an entombment one. Oh, let's go back.
Yes, this is so cool.
Isn't it nice?
It is, because I was telling Pastor Vicky last week that I'm reading the Book of God, which is like,
I've read that.
have you?
Yeah,
So you know, it's
Long
no,
Linger.
yes.
Yeah, it's like
It's just
it's
like
like a
reading
novel.
a novel, and it's so helpful to me because you know what's happening. It's just it wasn't sort of in sequence with you.
Right.
You know?
Now let's see here. I'm having trouble.
Is it a book for sale?
Yes,
Yes.
It's by Walter Wangerin, who used to write articles in the Lutheran magazine. He was sort of always
You can get it on Amazon. It's
Oh,
just
But
called
it's
The
a
Book of God.
And it's the
Yeah.
whole book.
And it's a
written like
paperback?
novel.
It's a
Uh,
wonderful book, but I have it in
hard
hardback.
Mine's in hardback, huh?
He wrote a beautiful one about the Passion.
Yes, he did.
yeah,
Yes.
there's lots of good books. I actually have some of those in my library, so you just wanted to. There might even be some in our church library.
Yeah, maybe we should check.
And if it's not there, then you can check my library. 'Cause I
I'd
know I
lend
have
it to you, but you might be too old and gray by the time you got it because
No,
I'm
I
still
want you
reading
to
it.
have it and read it, and I'll get it.
$8 on Amazon.
What is
Yeah.
it?
$8 on
Oh,
Amazon.
my, $8 for
Is
a
it
book
paperback?
today, that's very reasonable.
Mine's
It
hard.
says paperback now? Maybe.
It doesn't say, oh, no, I'm sorry, that's actually
Tom doesn't like Amazon, but maybe.
the paperback is $16
Oh, okay.
on Amazon.
Okay, let's see.
I found it very easy to read.
I did too. I can just sit down and read for, and
It's
I
like
know,
reading a book.
it's like, ooh,
It doesn't have
now what's
verses
gonna
written down,
happen?
you know, it's just.
Yeah, it's like a story.
It's
Yeah.
a novel.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a pastor who writes like a sermon. Story
Yeah.
sermons. It's just telling great stories. I've used some of his he wrote one for a wedding, and I've adapted it.
Oh, really?
For my own family at times, yeah. Because he was talking about his own family, and I adapted it to do some of my family. So it was good. But, so this is a great resource, this called Text Week, and that's, up here you can see the web address, Text Week. And so that's a really good place to go. Now, there's one from Luther Seminary. And so this is Luther Seminary. This is one of our church's seminaries. This is actually a seminary that Pastor Vicki and myself graduated from. And over here, there's something called lifelong learning. And here there are audio and podcasts, there's videos, and there's downloadable resources. So if we open this one up, you can see that there are resources available. And here's a Lenten devotional, here's Walter Brueggemann. These are all free. And here's another good devotion if you want another one called God Pause. Now this one follows the Revised Common Lectionary, so this is usually Lutheran pastors writing on the text for the coming week. And so this looks like this. And usually on a Sunday or so, this one has a hymn and writes about the hymn, and then has a little commentary about it. And so this is written by a Luther Seminary MDiv student who is now an intern and will graduate in this year in 19. So you see it's written by this Emily McQuillan. And this actually, you subscribe to it. You see over here it says daily devotions in your inbox. Sign up today. And it'll actually be an email that'll come in your email every day, and it gives you a little devotion. And this is what it looks like. It says God Pause. And this one particularly, on Sunday they often do a hymn, and then through the week they have Bible verses that they do.
I'm putting them in here.
This is called the Bible. They often have another here resources. This is free, and this is called enterthebible.org. It's a comprehensive and authoritative Bible resource from Luther Seminary. And this is then featuring articles, podcasts, and videos from faculty of our Lutheran Seminary. And so when you enter into that, you can see here where you can go buy books of the Bible. It has all kinds of resources there.
I like my Bible. That's my resource.
Yeah. And so down here, there's something called the Narrative. Is a 4-year cycle of readings following the sweep of the biblical story for use in congregational worship and preaching. You can do it there. Pass It On Projects, the Bible Initiative, enables First Call Luther Seminary graduates to request free Bibles for their congregations. Oh, there you go. I've talked to Pastor Vicki about that. We need some free Bibles. And here's some online resources. Looking deeper, so we can look here and see what they're recommending. And so this is where it comes back here. To enter the Bible, here's the seminary library, New Testament. So these are all different.
Oh, there's text week.
There's Text Week, exactly. And so they are there. That's the one we just got done looking at. This one, this is called Enter. Yeah, so So these are all different New Testament resources that are here, divided up. And so it all depends on how deep or where you want to go and what that kind of looks like.
Is the stuff you're doing on Wednesday, those videos, are they available online at all now?
That's a resource we actually purchased. So if you look up that, let's see here. Yeah, Alexander Hamilton, right? Alex Hamilton, right? He's a Methodist. He actually pastors. He actually pastors the largest Methodist church in the U.S. Well, let's see here. You can actually find out.
It's Alexander Hamilton. Is it the same as the historical figure of the Philippines?
Pastor, isn't it?
It's Alexander, but it's something else.
Head of media, Twitter.
Adam Hamilton.
It is Adam?
Adam, that's right.
Adam Hamilton. Let's go here.
There he is.
There he is.
Handsome men.
There he is. And so these are, he's in Kentucky, it looks like. Senior pastor of the United Methodist Church of the Resurrection in Leawood, Kansas. He preaches to more than 8,000 per week.
Whoa.
He's authored 13 books. He's a really good writer. I really like to read his books. These are all the different books that he's written. There we go.
It's been so neat to see those places in the Holy Land.
So this is the one we just did, right? Simon Peter. He's got one on forgiveness, faithfulness, Moses. Here's about the creed. Here's the call from the Apostle Paul, Gospel of John. One called The Way. He's a prolific writer, as you can see. Final words.
Oh, I like that one, when Christians get it wrong.
Yeah.
Final Words is good for this time of year too.
Really?
The 24 hours that change.
24 hours. We have that one. I have that one in my office. I have that one too. Yeah. So some of them have videos and some of them don't. I'm not sure which ones do. Well, we could probably investigate which
You
one
can
is
search. Do search.
But yeah, so he's really big. So the other thing that's happening with him is, given the Methodist Church's vote, he's on the leading edge of calling together all the pastors that are against that vote. And when you got
What was the vote?
the vote was, the Methodist Church voted that they would no longer support any kind of LGBTQ in their clergy or marriage or anything. And so it came down because the African communities and some very conservative churches here kind of swayed the vote. And so now he is leading a meeting with, let's see here, a New United Methodism. And so he's leading that. So two things he's doing is starting with like 200 pastors and meeting with them, and then he's going to meet with 400, and he's going to meet with 800, and they're all coming together to decide what they're going to do.
And he's trying to keep it glued together.
No, he's saying we got two options. One, we withhold the money, or two,
Money speaks.
we actually separate and form a new Methodist church here.
It's very similar to the Episcopal Church.
This one,
It is,
the Lutheran
yeah.
Church, everybody's done it.
Well,
And
with this
so-
particular issue, the Episcopal
Yeah.
Church has stayed glued together over an incredible number of huge
Yeah,
divides.
yeah.
Not the least of which was King George and
Right.
the original folks here, right?
Right, right.
But this one is definitely threatening to take it down.
Yeah, yeah. And
This
so,
this just came, didn't it?
this is just happened.
I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
in
And so-
2019, for sure,
Yeah, and so, yeah, so he's in the lead. So you got whatever Pastor Hamilton does with 8,000 members in his church, he's got a lot of clout, and he's the leader of this. And so I don't know what's going to happen, but just a little something to think about.
Keep an eye on it.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. Let's see. What else do I think about? Do you have any questions about?
What was the first one? I missed
The first one is one that Pastor Vicky talked about called the Bible Project. And so this is one that,
Last week.
yep, so she's already kind of done this, so I wasn't going to spend a lot of time there, but just give you the web address called the Bible Project. And the other one that we spent some time on is
Is the text one,
Text Week.
Yeah, I was here for that, so it's okay, so I'm sorry.
So Text Week is this one here.
Bible,
It has lots of
yes, and Luther Seminary.
Yeah, and so this is Text Week, and that's what it is, textweek.com, and you can find resources for any Sunday, any scripture. You can look at it by scripture, you can look at it by Sunday. And so sometimes I want to do one thing, and sometimes I want to do another. And so you can actually look at index by scripture, and so you can go here and say I wanted to look up something on John, and so here I must have clicked on Acts, but it'll tell me what some resources are, where those Bible verses might be found, and where I can find the resources for it. So you don't have to look at it that way. You can look at it under podcasts. These are all different podcasts that are available from this particular resource.
It's huge.
It's very big, it's very deep, and sometimes links don't always work, as you might have been seeing. I was trying to click on some.
Is there anything on hymn stories, like you have a hymn, you want to look up the background of it?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. And so what I often do is, if you go to type in, say we wanted to look up what?
Oh, Jesus, let me walk with you.
What would you do? Oh, holy.
Amazing Grace has a good story.
Oh, holy Jesus, right? Did we
Oh,
say
Holy
that?
Jesus.
We just said, is that one we just did right this
Yeah.
morning? Oh, holy Jesus. And what I often do, there is this hymnary.org, and this is one place you can look. I looked at several. This is how we did it, and sometimes it'll have who the author was, it'll say a little bit about it, and it'll give some information. Depending on what hymn and where they are. You can also go to Wikipedia. Are you familiar with Wikipedia? That's an online dictionary, I guess. I don't know. It's encyclopedia.
Yeah.
And what it'll do is it'll talk about this, and here you got translations, references, and some background story.
Yeah. So in fact, I guess that's sort of what my question was related to, and that my guess is that it's great to have known sites to go to, but I'm wondering sort of how common sort of that practice is versus somebody just going to Bing or to Google and typing in Jesus or something.
Yep.
And now being confronted by 1.5 million
Sure.
hits kind of thing.
Sure.
And how does one sort of think about the options, if you will, that are
Boy.
presented to those types of searches, if you will?
I just typed in Jesus
Yeah.
on Google.
Yeah.
The first is Jesus, 1979 film. Jesus Seminary. Jesus Cares, sung
Sure.
by Luther. Jesus Christ Superstar. Jesus Loves Me.
So it's sort of the paralysis that I sometimes contemplate happens when in fact one is confronted with so many choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So part of it is kind of what are you looking for,
Yeah.
and what sites. There are beautiful sites out there. Depends on what you're looking for. What is your goal? Where are you trying to get? What kind of knowledge are you trying to gain from it?
Is there a Bible that just highlights what's in the lectionary? I was wondering what is and isn't in the lectionary. I mean, something that we have.
So I actually have, usually it's a 3-volume, so I have those. and we do have actually, yes, so there
if
are.
you wanted to read the whole Bible, how much are you getting from the lectionary and what are you missing?
Oh, yeah, it's not set up as a Bible, it's set up as lectionary readings.
Oh, okay, no, I was.
Weekly
thinking,
readings.
Like in the Gospel of Mark, what's in the lectionary from that and what isn't?
Yeah. Well, you can certainly find out. There are, so Revised Common Lectionary, say we wanted to look at that. So it'll actually tell you 2019. Here's the liturgical calendar. And so it'll tell you, this is the, this will just tell you what the scriptures are,
Yeah.
right? And you can download that, of what they are. Now, there are so many that are out there. It's just hard. I don't know if there's actually a Bible. I have a book that I like that doesn't do that, but it actually puts the Bible in its actual order of being written.
Oh.
So you start with like Thessalonians and Corinthians before you get to the Gospels,
Okay.
and Revelation's like in the middle. And so you don't get to like 1 John or at the very end, and so it's just kind of one of those things that you read the Bible as a little differently. We kind of think of it as, well, it must have been written in this order from Genesis to Revelation, but it wasn't. It's kind of mixed up, especially the New Testament. If you think about the Gospels were written, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John were written much later than most of the epistles were actually written. And so they didn't have that. So think about when we think of the early church, they didn't have the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke. Mark was the very first one that was written. Later, Matthew and Luke used a little bit of Mark and another source to kind of create theirs. And John, he's off on his own. But they came much later. And so what they had was what Paul was writing and what was happening.
So if you were to get 30 pastors in a room, each with their own laptop, and they were to collectively go to Google and type in Jesus,
Yeah.
do you have a sense as to how similar their searches would be?
I have no idea.
I bet you they wouldn't be.
I would guess not.
Yeah.
I would guess
And so, to some degree, I asked that question, again, trying to think about, the searcher, who's trying to, actually legitimately know Jesus.
Right.
And may not be armed like we might be out of classes like this.
Right.
About where to, gain information about who Jesus is and who Jesus was and how, Jesus can affect my life today.
Right.
And then they go to such online searches, akin to how they find, Zion Lutheran Church in Ann Arbor. Most people who are looking look on the internet,
Right.
Kind of thing. And now we're confronted with, 2 million hits.
Oh, yeah. You
And there's
don't know
no
where to
way
go.
to distinguish, or authenticate, or validate any one of those, as
Right.
far as I know.
Right.
And so, that always perplexes me. Yeah. It sort of was hammered home yesterday when Audrey and I stopped in the bank and we got talking to the manager about some science stuff. Oh my goodness, it was insane. She just rattled on and on about, when are we going to finally cure cancer? Well, cancer is more complex than that.
Yeah.
Well, gee whiz, everybody keeps saying it. Like, well, there's 1,000. It was just amazing. I mean, she was totally influenced by, what she could read on, a newspaper or, on TV
On
or
the
the internet, kind of thing. And that was her information base.
Right.
And so she is easily swayed by junk information.
Oh, absolutely.
As well as things that are well authenticated.
Absolutely.
And it seems like such a challenging problem.
There's actually, I'm sure that if you put in Jesus and went to one of the websites, there's also that negative part of it.
No, exactly, yeah, yeah.
And that is the scary part.
Well, the reason
because-
why I brought up the example of the 30 pastors is that when you do Google searches and I do Google searches,
Yeah,
we're gonna get different results.
Yeah, exactly.
Based on where you've looked in the past.
Sure, sure,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, which is weird.
Well, and my guess is, Bob, actually, is that very few people are actually Googling Jesus.
Oh, no.
I don't think it's not in the forefront of people's minds anymore. I just don't think it is. I'd be really surprised.
What do you think they would Google? If they were just thinking, maybe I should look into this kind of thing, what do you think they went to? What is religion? Church? Yeah.
Christianity.
No, we're not doing that.
Maybe. I think I just don't know. I mean, so Pastor Vicky was at a hospital. This is a Christian hospital recently, and she was talking to one of the nurses about how, it's Holy Week and she's getting ready, and this person says,
What's
you know,
Holy Week?
oh, how cute. It's so nice you name it that. I had no clue.
And Vicky is going,
And so, I don't know if it's on the conscious of our world today. Really. People just aren't even thinking about
Yeah.
faith.
Yeah.
Life's been pretty good. Again, the thing that makes us think about faith is when tragedy happens.
they may put in words like, because I used to have a friend and he used to say, I just fire truck it. I call for help when I need it.
Yeah.
And I think about that because if you are like depression, or let's say that you have someone, a horrible accident and your parents die, and you put something in because you want something. You're just searching. So what would you put in? Depression? Maybe? Grief? Yeah, grief. That's good. Yeah. And I think that's probably the way it all would begin, with your own personal, what's affecting you at the time.
Yeah. And I think people probably, when it comes to matters of faith, reach out to a friend or family person.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment, and that is that I'm totally illiterate when it comes to this. I'm living in the dark ages, and I don't really have any interest in looking at it either. It overwhelms me, it's too much. But I have a sense that maybe we're forgetting that we don't really need anything more than the Bible. When you were talking about when you have grief, where do you go? As long as I can remember, that's where I have found my comfort.
Yes.
In reading the Bible, everything that we need is there. And I am afraid that we, even as a church and young people, we don't know the Bible. We don't understand it, we don't know it, we don't use it. We become a society that are illiterate when it comes to the Bible. And I'm not bad-mouthing this technology, but I'm saying that maybe we're spending a lot of time looking at all this, and I think that can be confusing for a lot of people.
Can be.
But the Bible has been around for a long, long time.
Right.
And the Bible doesn't change, but the Bible is, the words of God are living words.
Sure.
So that they give you a different perspective at one time. You can read it over and over and over, and you're always learning something new.
Yes.
And you can trust it.
Right.
Yeah.
So part of the motivation for this, I think, emerges out of sort of like educational research.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and that-
different. This is wonderful for that, but
But the notion there is that, you're right, that, there is an educational.
Christians are becoming
literacy
literate
issue.
when it comes to the Bible.
So the question is, if that's true, then what is sort of our responsibility in
Yes.
dealing with that? Certainly for those who are open to, picking up a hardcover, sort of book, we have that solution. But this is an alternative solution.
Absolutely.
And that is, I guess my point is that educational research suggests that providing multiple avenues to sort of solve those types of literacy and educational
Mhm.
goals
Mhm.
actually is a better solution than only having one.
Well, yeah, but the Bible isn't just one. I mean, you read something different all the time.
But this is the Bible.
Yes.
It's
yes,
just sort of in
I'm
a
this
different
Bible.
form.
I'm not
so-
bad mouthing
Yeah.
that. I'm
It's
just
just
saying.
a different path
I
that
am
appeals to a
concerned
different
that
demographic.
Christians
The
today
biggest problem,
do
though,
not
that-
know the Bible.
the-
No, absolutely.
The problem we have today, though, you grew up with the Bible.
Absolutely, we had it in school the first hour,
Exactly.
all through from starting in the first grade. We had the Bible.
But-
We knew those stories.
But you know, the thing is, in today's world, there are so many people, there's not a Bible in their house. They never, they never went to Sunday school, they
Right.
never, it's like the story that,
Yeah, right.
Pastor
That's why I
Vicky.
say, it makes me feel
isn't it sad?
sad.
It is
Yeah.
sad.
We received some all different things from my in-laws home after Don's brother died last year. And one of the things that I found there was a small Bible, beautiful Bible, that was given to Don's father from his father. And it had a beautiful writing inside that he had written to his son. But this Bible was obviously left in a place. Grandma used to store things up in the attic where it was very warm, and the leather was just so brittle it was falling apart, and yet it had the gold writing on the outside. And I looked at that and I thought, this is so tragic, because it wasn't used, obviously. And this is true in my own life and in my own family and everything, and we don't look at the Bible, we don't read it. And I think that we as Christians and as churches.
My personal belief is that this is a generational
Yes,
challenge.
I think
And
so.
so, developing novel,
Mhm.
maybe higher tech sort of methodologies that appeal to a younger demographic, if we can capture that audience, we have the opportunity of sort of bringing to their lives sort of this modern day version
Mhm.
of the Bible that they will grow up with.
Mhm.
And as a consequence, maybe, 20, 30, 40 years from now, when I'm sure everything will change, again, they'll look with longing, back at the time when,
Oh,
gee, on my
yeah,
phone or on my tablet, we used to do it this way.
Now it's on my glasses.
Yeah.
We had, a long time ago here at Zion, we were taught, something called the Bible as,
Literature.
what was it?
Is literature?
No, I'm mixing it up with a book that I bought, because the Bible is history, and they use pictures to explain things. And I'm doing a poor job of explaining this now. But this was so fascinating. It was a new method. And it was so fascinating, and people started reading the Bible, and I came across a book that was written by some German archaeologist or something called The Bible is History, and it just opened up the whole thing. So I'm not saying that we should read just the Bible, I'm just saying that I think we're becoming quite illiterate when it comes to the Bible. And I think that's kind of sad.
It is. I agree, it's sad.
Well, here's a few more resources. So if you like daily devotions, this is Max Lucado. He's from around down in Houston, Texas area, and he has some beautiful devotions. He's also a prolific author. He wrote some beautiful, a whole shelf of his books. Wonderful, wonderful. Here is again Rick Warren, and he has a daily devotion that can come to your email as well called Daily Hope. And those are just wonderful as well. Just really solid Christian. Here's a podcast that I listen to often called 5 Minutes in Church History. And the podcast is only 5 minutes. This one particularly was talking about C.S. Lewis. But here are some of the episodes that they talk about. John MacArthur, what is an evangelical? Talks about all these different places that he goes. Here he is, Francis Schaeffer, Iona, Spurgeon. So if you like a little history And knowing it, he did a great one on Luther and went around Germany during the 500th anniversary, and he did about 20 episodes just on Luther. And they were 5 minutes. That's all they are, 5 minutes of listening. And, no, this is, we go down to, Dr. Stephen Nichols. And then, of course, we have our own website. It's here. It's always good to make sure you know where that is. And then, if you wanted to know, I always, let's see here, if I can find. So I'm looking for staff here.
Oh. Isn't it, contact us
No.
with staff?
Do you need to be on Word of Life?
Yep, I do.
Okay.
I wanted to show you, because this is our person who does our website.
Oh.
And I want to show you, so what she does.
Lori?
Oh,
This is
her.
Lori.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so,
She's on their staff?
yeah,
Oh,
and that's what I was trying to look at under,
adults?
no, I'm trying to find. Here we go, staff, there we go. And so, so this is all the pastoral staff they have, but I want to, let's see here, she's under communication, actually, let me go right there. And so, this is the person, here is, there's Lori Bugler, she's right here. She's the one who does all of our Facebook, Instagram, and website, and she is the executive director of this communication staff, and look at all the communication staff she has, that she watches over for just her little church, not little church. It's a
I was
big
gonna
church.
say, with
There-
all those pastors and it's a little church.
Four pastors.
Yeah.
So she has a website specialist all on her own, and all these different people. So anyway, but this is Lori, and so I know Bob, you emailed her all the time. So
I do.
I thought it'd be nice for you to
Yeah.
say hi.
That's cool to see her picture.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that you knew she was, since we're doing a little bit of perusing around
Yeah.
as such. But that is,
And coming soon, Eric.
yeah. So there we are.
And Ben.
Yeah. So that's kind of
That's
good.
awesome.
I just wanted to
Quite a spec.
show that. Yeah, they've got a big church. So
Well,
Well,
it's
and after, do you have to run?
I do have to go up, so I do have to keep going. But I am
We hire
always,
her to do our stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's paid on a